before you take that selfie. Everyone, I'm Matthew Cornwell with Get Taped here in Atlanta, Georgia, one of Atlanta's original audition taping services, which I co-own with my amazingly talented, beautiful wife and best friend, Brooke. And now on to our topic. Before you take that selfie. So in the wee early days of this channel, back in the summer of 2020, we actually covered this topic. I encourage you to check it out because I made some pretty good points back then. However, today I want to broaden the scope of this discussion and give some more reasoning why, in general, you should never be taking photos from the moment you arrive on set until the moment you leave. And for reference, until told otherwise, assume that we're talking about full budget productions, at least productions where they have a full base camp, a large crew, and probably even some recognizable faces as the leads, maybe even big time celebrities. For smaller independent projects, I'll have some caveats at the end of this video. Okay, first things first, when you get hired onto a production, you will be signing a contract. Sometimes before your first day, sometimes when you arrive at your trailer, sometimes you do it digitally now. Regardless, in that contract, in every contract, there is language in there that expressly states what you're allowed to take photos or videos of and how and when you're allowed to post that footage. But here's the TLDR, which apparently means too long, didn't read. Assume it emphatically prohibits all photography, period, full stop. And also assumes that it threatens legal action if you violate that policy and get caught posting photos or videos. Because that's what most of them actually say, especially the ones where there's going to be a big time celebrity, or it's part of a cinematic universe, or is otherwise just a hotly anticipated project. So we could stop the video right here. I mean, that language in the contract should be enough, right? I'm being told that's not enough, so I guess we have to keep talking about this. Why do we think that it doesn't apply to us? Why are you the special case? And I'm sorry, you can't claim ignorance of that contract. After all, you are now an employee. Yeah, you're signing tax paperwork. This is a legitimate job. This is not a spa day. This is not a vacation. Just repeat that to yourself. Put this video on repeat at that moment and just listen to it. Make it a mantra. Write it in your journal. Put it on a sticky note. Plaster it all over your bedroom. Put it on your vision board. This is not a spa day. This is not a vacation. Some of you really, really need to hear that because you're treating this industry like an occasional hobby. And hey, it's great if you have a steady full-time job that fulfills you and you only do this acting thing for fun on the side. But think about that other job for a moment. Think of the rules that are in place in your workplace. Think about how serious your boss takes the health of the company, the growth of the company, and how the employees behave. So is it hard to see this industry, the TV and film industry, equally? I know it feels like a vacation because you might only get to be on set one day out of the year. Heck, a normal year for me, historically speaking, is like 3 to 7 days on set for the year. Yeah. And a great year would be like 15 to 20 days on set. So I get the fact that being on set is not the norm. It is not the normal part of your routine day to day. And I get that when you're stepping onto set for a project that has a big time celebrity, you kind of feel like a tourist. You're not a tourist. You're an employee. And I cannot emphasize this point enough. So I'll say it again. You are not a tourist. You are an employee. Even if you get to act opposite Meryl Streep today, congrats, by the way, you are her peer. You are equals. Heck, your character might be yelling at her character because you have a higher status in the scene than her. Basically, you just need to adopt the mindset that you and Meryl and everyone else in the scene and on that production are all collaborating towards the same vision. And sure, there will be moments between takes and setups where you're reminded that you're number 53 on the call sheet and they're Meryl Streep. But if you can psych yourself into believing that you truly belong there, spoiler alert, you do because you book the job, then you might start to understand the overall point that I'm making. Okay, but I got ahead of myself. Let's go back to when you're in your trailer. After you've signed that ironclad NDA prohibiting photos, but before you've been sent to hair and makeup. So while you're killing time in your trailer, out of costume, is it okay to take a selfie? I mean, you could, but Why do you need to? And especially if you're going to post it right away or add it to your IG story, just ask yourself, why do I need to post this? Is it sheer boredom? Is it because I need validation from other people so that they know that I'm working today, that one day of the year? Look, I get it. I'm not trying to come across overly judgmental here, but if you want to be considered a professional, you need to start looking at this job more professionally. Okay, so now let's say you've been invited to the hair and makeup trailer. While you're sitting there getting your hair done or your makeup done, is it okay to either take a selfie of the process or to ask that artist if they can do a photo with you? Again, why? If this is your only day on set, you're a start, work, finish, and you're sitting in that trailer, you've just met this person for the first time, this is not the time to take a photo. And despite how smiley that hair or makeup artist might be in that photo, there's a really good chance they didn't want to take that. They didn't want to be in your photo. And so now, by sort of being forced into being in your photo, you've left a bad taste in their mouth, and now they're looking at you like a rookie, like a newbie. That's you being a tourist. And I just want to ask, was that photo worth it? Okay, so now you're back in your trailer after going through hair and makeup. You've been invited to put on your full costume because they're going to be taking you to set soon. You've got your full costume on and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, ooh, perfect time for a selfie. It's common. I get it. I fully understand this urge, but please don't post it. Not today. Not tomorrow. Your contract may allow for you to post it after the project has aired, but double check the fine print. And if you're not sure, then you need to contact whoever's in charge of publicity for this project to make sure that you're allowed to post it even after the project has aired. See, you don't own that costume. That is not your property. So you don't even have a right to be taking that photo. It's part of the story that the production, your boss, is telling. And so it's sensitive information. That is, it might be a spoiler for the project. And if you're a start, work, finish, in other words, you're only working one day, you can't possibly be able to discern whether or not the articles of clothing that you're wearing, or even the way your hair is styled or the way your makeup has been done, whether it is or is not some sort of spoiler. So be smart and don't post, or be smarter and don't even take the photo to begin with. Now let's move to set. You've been shown where your cast chair is. Maybe you've even done a rehearsal. You've gotten to see the set, and it is so freaking cool, right? I mean, look at that. Oh, I should get a photo. Or should I? They don't need your behind the scenes photos leaking onto the internet. They actually legitimately hire someone to take those photos for them so that they can post them at the appropriate moments in the appropriate news outlets on the appropriate timeline that they get to decide, because they are the ones putting millions of dollars into this project. Because even if there are no other people, there's no celebrities in those photos, you don't know what is sensitive in that photo. What parts of that set might be sensitive, might actually be revealing plot points. So just don't do it. So if you take that photo with the intent of posting it, you're robbing that production, essentially, of the ability to publicize the project in the way that they deem necessary. And it's horrible that you're doing it willfully as an employee of the company. Again, I know I'm coming across as a little judgmental here, maybe a lot judgmental, but it's really just a righteous passion that is burning inside of me, because I want you to understand how serious of an issue this is. And if you're currently a hobbyist, but you endeavor to be a professional, then you must start adopting professional behaviors. And this is one of the easiest ones you can start doing right now. You don't have to wait or learn or take a class. You can just choose to be a professional right now. Okay, so now let's just flash forward to after your day is over, you're being wrapped, and there is another celebrity or two on set, and you kind of want to ask them for a photo. That's okay, right? I mean, they get asked for photos all the time. Look, I know you're going to do it anyway, but please hear me out for the next few minutes. First, if you weren't acting with them, if you weren't sharing the screen with them, like maybe you were working as background that day, or you're showing up on set for your scene and they're getting wrapped for the day from their scenes, please don't ask them for a photo. They're at work. Yes, they are a celebrity. And yes, they do get asked for photos all the time from their fans out in public. But is it too much to ask to maintain a sanctity of the workplace environment by not subjecting them to these requests from people out of nowhere? Again, I'm talking about when you didn't even work with them. You just happened to be crossing paths with them. Because when they're busy doing the thing that they've committed their life to, regardless of whether or not you're committing your life to it, they have chosen to commit their life to this art form. Shouldn't they be allowed to do that in peace and to not be bombarded between takes and between setups with endless requests for photos? And you're thinking, well, it's just me asking. Well, everyone else is watching your behavior. So if someone else sees that you're asking for a photo, they get the idea. And then it snowballs. And what starts out as one photo could turn into 25 requests over the next 2.5 minutes. And this actually brings up a good philosophical question. They're a celebrity. So even though they're on set working, should they expect to be asked for photos? And should they expect and be willing to take those photos? I'm not sure if I truly know the answer to that, and I'm sure every celebrity would answer it differently. But I do know that if you did not establish any connection with them, you did not share the screen with them, and you're asking for a photo, it's an inconvenience at best, and it's highly disrespectful at worst. So it's just better not to do it. If you were in the scene with that celebrity and you felt like there was not just a connection between the two of you while filming, but also maybe back at the cast chairs while you were chatting, great. But in that scenario, they now think you're cool. You're just a normal human. You're just two employees at work. So when you suddenly say, hey, can I get a photo? You've changed the relationship. You were peers, but now you've deified them and made yourself a tourist all in one moment. Also, fundamentally, if a photo is taken of two people, shouldn't both of them want to be in the photo? The more I think about it, those photos where you're standing with the celebrity, it looks a little bit like a proof of life photo with their captor. A very happy captor with a dumb, stupid grin on their face. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite. At least old Matt is or was. I'm a reformed hypocrite. Those photos were taken in 2010, I believe, 2011, on the set of The Change Up, and I feel icky about those photos now. First of all, they don't look like they're in their best light. Also, what I just mentioned before, I was on set with a ton of extras in the background who all saw me ask for and get those photos. So I can only imagine what happened after I got wrapped and all those other extras, maybe at lunch, maybe when they were getting wrapped, suddenly inched their way over and said, hey, can I get a photo, Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Bateman? Yeah, and I'm the one responsible for that. But I stopped becoming a tourist well over a decade ago, shortly after being on that set, and I've learned from those mistakes. Now, for a moment, I want you to think about a scenario that will seem ridiculous at first, but it's a mindset you can adopt to help you discern when it might be appropriate to ask for a photo. And that is, wait for the moment where you feel like you're on the cusp of them asking you for a photo. And if it sounds ridiculous that they would ask for a photo, then you probably shouldn't ask for one. But if it kind of feels like, I think there's something here, I kind of feel like they're going to ask me, then maybe it'll be received with a lot more normalcy. It won't feel like the fan or the tourist asking for the photo. In fact, since that photo, in the last 13 plus years, the only photo I've taken with a celebrity on set, it was asked by them to take the photo with me. And it was because the celebrity had worked with a dear friend of mine on a previous project over a number of episodes. And when I made that connection, she was like, oh my gosh, we have to get a photo and send it to him. But I've never posted that photo. And hang in there because I want to make a few more quick points. First, I just want to remind you that you belong on set. You earned that job. And so even though you may only have one day on set, and so it feels like you showed up really late to camp and that you're also leaving really early, act like you belong there, because you do. And a big part of acting like you belong there is being professional. And hey, if you still want to document the situation, I have a great solution. Wait for the final product. That's proof that you were there on set with that celebrity. And yes, I know the counter argument is sometimes, maybe a lot of the times, your footage gets cut. But you understand my point, hopefully. Oh, and before I let you go, I want to, as promised, talk about the caveat of when you're on an indie production. If you're on a super low budget where maybe you're only getting paid copy, credit, and meals, well, then they'll probably encourage you to take as many photos and videos behind the scenes that you can and post them at will whenever you want. Because for them, that's free publicity. They don't have a publicity budget. They don't have a publicist or a PR firm that they've hired. They're just hoping, and I've been there many times, that your friends will spread the word. You'll get into some film festivals and word will naturally spread. The buzz will naturally build. And on medium budget projects, maybe like movies of the week or things that are streaming or on cable, you might get counseled when you're being onboarded onto the project on what you can post, what you can take photos and videos of. And it'll be this sort of middle ground where they're giving you some boundaries, but they are encouraging you to be proactive. Because if you do have 10,000 followers, or if you're a slightly a TikTok influencer and might have 1 million views on your last video, then they'll gladly take those extra eyeballs, but they don't want you to go crazy revealing everything about the production. Oftentimes in those situations, they'll actually give you the point of contact for any sort of social media inquiries. So if you're not sure, you can quickly reach out through email or text to that person so that you can figure out whether or not this photo is acceptable or not to post on IG today, or should I wait until the movie is being publicized, or should I wait until the project has come out, etc. In short, and hear me on this, do not ask for forgiveness later, ask for permission now. Okay. That's it. So now it's time for you to hit me with the yeah, buts in the comments. I know a lot of you are thinking it's no big deal, and most of those viewers are probably not watching any longer. The point of this video is I just want you to be informed before you willfully violate your contract. Our society has been coached into thinking that we are entitled to do whatever we want in the moment to make us feel happy or content or satisfied. We rarely think past our 3-foot bubble, and we even more rarely read the fine print to understand how the world is working around us. But just know that if you work with me on set and you ask for my photo, then don't be surprised when I say, yeah, sure, let's meet up after we have gotten out of costume and makeup and we've signed the G and we're back at our cars in the sort of crew parking lot. Yeah, then for sure, let's take a photo. Just don't put me in the position to violate the NDA I just signed. Oh, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on set.